Welcome back to Amerisogyny. I'm your host, Hannah Blue. You're listening to episode 95, Exposing Toxicity in Human Nature. Well, hello, my listeners. As promised, I am back with new stories. For this episode, we're going to be traveling quite a bit. And I don't intend to waste your time, so let's jump right into it. Let's get ready for our first stop, the United Kingdom. Lewis Raymond Taylor is an entrepreneur and a life coach. He claims he was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. I don't know what it is about this disorder that attracts some what I call broken women, but this isn't somebody I would want to tangle with. Let's get into what he said. It's important to understand that antisocial personality disorder is an underlying condition of psychopathy. People shouldn't go around diagnosing themselves or calling themselves psychopaths without seeing a clinical professional. And here are some traits: impulsiveness, manipulation, having very little fear, and having lack of remorse. Taylor says he understands emotions, but doesn't feel them the way other people do. At 24, he hit a guy who fell into a coma because he suffered a brain hemorrhage, and that landed him 18 months in prison. Taylor said that he felt inconvenienced by going to prison, but he never feared it. He said he doesn't feel remorse, just a cognitive understanding that it shouldn't have happened. He claims he's not emotionless. He cried when his dad died, and he cried after learning a girlfriend had cheated on him. But he doesn't respond the way the world does. Weddings, funerals, and hierarchy of authority mean nothing to him. He also said he was very relieved when he cried after his son was born. He says he loves his son, but it's different and probably not as loving as a normal dad. As far as relationships go, he has to see action, and then he makes the choice to care for someone or not. He said if a woman cooks him a meal, then he's able to understand that she loves him. But he doesn't want people to get it twisted. Someone could tell him anything, and he wouldn't care. Taylor founded the Coaching Masters, which is a life coaching company, and he says it's worth $25 million. His story is also on Netflix in the documentary, The Psychopath Life Coach. Now, Taylor says he wouldn't be as successful were he not a psychopath, and I believe him, because there's just something about psychopathy that is very seductive to people. We are leaving the UK and flying back into the United States to talk about a state I haven't talked about in a while, my own, North Carolina. I've said it before on this podcast, and I'll say it again. Some cops and mental health just don't mix. Now, this incident happened in Shelby, North Carolina on May 29th. A North Carolina police officer, Carson Hyder, 22, was called on the carpet to face charges after he was caught on video repeatedly punching a Black woman during an arrest. After turning himself into the Cleveland County Detention Center, he was released on a $10,000 bond. The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation said they were requested to investigate Hyder by the Shelby Police Chief and the Cleveland County District Attorney. Investigators determined he used excessive force during the injury and charged him with 1 count of assault, inflicting serious injury. And he was fired after the video of the arrest was posted on social media. Now, that's one good thing about social media. According to an affidavit, Hyder did assault and strike the woman by grabbing her by the arm, pushing her to the ground, and striking her in the face with a closed fist, thereby inflicting serious injury, possible broken nose, and busted lip. The victim is 34-year-old Cherie Moore, and she was asking for mental health care as the officers arrested her. She said she was off her medication and asked for the officers to call her father again and again. Gregory Moore is her father, and he said, "I was so upset. Why is this man doing this to my daughter? What reason? And she's sick." Some officers don't care about that. For centuries in this country, there has been a great divide and a great distrust between Black Americans and the police, and rightfully so, because of officers like Hyder. He and his kind believe that Black people are nothing more than punching bags or shooting targets. And here comes the BS. Hyder was allegedly arresting the woman for breaking and entering after a suspicious female call. If you're listening to me outside of the U.S., let me tell you what suspicious means in the United States. Suspicious means Black, okay? It's racist. You will never have a call about a suspicious female and she's white, and you can take that to the bank. Now, the police chief of Shelby took a stand and said, I want to be clear that the inappropriate use of force is unacceptable and will not be tolerated by myself, the Shelby Police Department, or the city of Shelby. We understand the concerns this instance has caused within our community, and we want to assure the public that this matter is being taken seriously. Moore's attorney, Ronald Haynes Jr., said, the incident will forever impact the life of Moore and her family. This has devastated our community and furthered the distrust between the African American community and police. When have we ever trusted them? But thank God this police chief, and it looks like the director of SBI, are not having it. That's what we need. More people to speak out against unnecessary violence and excessive force. Police are to protect and serve communities, not bring them down. We're not leaving North Carolina just yet. I have one more story for you. A North Carolina deputy pepper sprayed and punches a Black man after he tried to re-enter a courtroom. The victim's name is Don Long, and he's 38. Long and his attorneys, Harry Daniels and Gerald Griggs, have filed a lawsuit against Northampton County and its sheriff's office. This incident happened on January 22nd, but the attorneys posted the video on June 5th. Griggs said a Northampton County sheriff's deputy assaulted Long and caused permanent eye damage and vision impairment. According to Griggs, Deputy Gregory Colson sprayed pepper spray directly into his eyes at close range. And what did Long do? He just asked whether he could enter a courtroom. So what started all this? Long said he entered the courthouse that morning to attend a hearing related to a separate incident where he was accused of threatening two white women in August 2025. Long was already in the courtroom to attend his hearing when a deputy ordered him to take his phone to the car, and he did. But when he tried to re-enter the courtroom, he was pepper sprayed and punched by Colson. According to the lawsuit, the incident caused permanent eye damage that affected Long's ability to work as a commercial truck driver. It also alleges the deputies handcuffed him and held him in a courthouse cell for 45 minutes before transporting him to a hospital. And then he was released without filing any charges. According to court records, Long was never charged. And Daniels said Colson no longer works at the sheriff's office. He was either fired or forced to resign. Now, as far as why he was there in the first place, Long said he never threatened anybody and that the two women lied about the alleged assault and threats. And he was looking forward to the truth coming out in court, but he never got that chance. On January 24th, Long wrote on Facebook, "It's scary knowing I could be dead, and it would have been covered up or justified in their eyes. It's scary. I could be in a cell and facing damn near life in prison for assault or attempted murder on a government official." And he's right. Some people are just hateful and evil, like this next person we're going to talk about on our next stop, Chicago, Illinois. Now, you know, autism is near and dear to my heart. I have a daughter who is autistic, and this is what 21 Blue Lash and this show is all about, fighting for the rights of people with disabilities, especially kids diagnosed with autism. Now, a North Carolina mother says a Southwest Airlines employee discriminated against her son, and she's gearing up for a legal fight. Why did she need an attorney? She says that the employee said that her autistic son could not board a plane. The mother's name is LaQuisha Logan, and she says this happened at the Midway Airport in Chicago, Illinois. According to her, he told her that she and her 4 children needed to scan their own boarding passes. Now, why that was a problem, I don't know. But she said, I tried to have my son scan his boarding pass, and I tried to hold his hand for it. But Charles said, no, you cannot help him do it. I think that is absolutely asinine. If the boy needed help, why not let his mother help him? Where was the harm in that? Logan claims 2 of her 4 children are autistic, and one of them is nonverbal, meaning he doesn't use words to speak. And she said, it's like, sir, you're forcing him to do something he cannot do. She said her son's hands were too shaky to scan the boarding pass. I understand that because my own daughter's hands shake. But Charles said, I have 2 autistic children. If I tell them to scan their boarding pass, they will scan their own boarding passes. This is something that parents of autistic kids need to stop doing. Just because your child can do something, it doesn't mean the other child can. And that does not make them high functioning or low functioning. We have levels now, people. Level 1, 2, and 3. Please get with the program and stop saying high functioning and low functioning, because that doesn't make any child any better or worse. Yeah, that label irritates me to no end. It does. But I digress. Back to the story. This is what prompted the mother to start screaming and recording. Well, the gate agent called security, who put her in a back room. She claims the employees had to chase her son down and help calm him, and they had to calm her too. Now, thank goodness that the pilot waited for them to board their flight to Arizona. But here's the most interesting thing about this story. She says that a white couple was ahead of them in line, and Charles allowed the man to scan his and the woman's boarding passes. Yeah. So why was it okay for the white man to scan his and the lady's boarding passes, but it wasn't okay for the mother to help her autistic son scan his? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Race card my ass. He didn't treat her son the same way that he treated the white couple, and I hope she gets an attorney and sues the airline into the ground. Being the parent of an autistic little person is already difficult enough without some asshole, I'm sorry, I'm cussing, but it's true, some asshole like Charles making it 10 times worse. Logan said, I would hate to say that race plays an issue in it, but when you look at it in black and white, that's what makes sense. She says that she hopes Charles will be fired, and so do I. And she says she hopes that the airline will come up with some type of extra sensitivity training or education. Now, of course, when people saw the video, they were shocked and angered, and some made comments such as, if you don't have human decency and empathy, get out of a customer service role. Genuinely, so many people just don't know how to treat people. Another said, listening to that video made my heart hurt. I cannot imagine a world where we treat people like this and push people to the breaking point. Yet here we are. And another said, imagine having to explain your kid's diagnosis all the time. Do your job, of course, but be human as well. I know those breakdowns all too well. That woman is tired, man. And another said, damn, this was hard to watch. No lie. Southwest Air, do better. And yes, Southwest Air, you should do better. I bet if she files a lawsuit and wins, they will. All right, we're pulling out and getting ready for our next stop. This state is one of the most racist states in America, and I should know. It's the birthplace of both my grandparents, Mississippi. A 1-year-old baby boy was murdered outside of a Walmart after Senatobia police were dispatched over a shoplifting complaint. Some Senatobia residents told media they believe that the local police department make unnecessary arrests and engages in use of force over the slightest issues. According to Brasherie Faulkner, we lost a child because of carelessness, recklessness of the police. This was eventually going to end up with them killing someone because they overreact on small things that shouldn't escalate. She claims she was handcuffed on the ground by Senatobia police in the same Walmart over a handicapped parking space. On Sunday, Senatobia police were at the Walmart to respond to a call about an alleged shoplifting and encountered two people with a child fleeing from the store into a vehicle. Now, here's the investigator's version of the story, and something about this jumped out at me. I want to see if you're going to pick up on it too. The police said they attempted to stop the vehicle, but the driver drove in the direction of the officers, almost striking one. The officer discharged their weapon and the vehicle fled the scene. Does this sound familiar? It does to me. Remember I brought you the story of Renee Good, an innocent lady who had dropped off her son at school and was shot by police when they claimed she rammed her vehicle in the direction of the officer and he had no choice but to shoot. Now, even the Trump administration backed that lie, and guess what? It definitely was a lie. She didn't try to hit that officer. And I'll need to see the body cam footage to see if this person actually tried to hit the officer at the Walmart. According to the mother, that's not true, but we'll get into that in a bit. According to reports, the Senatobia Police Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Of course they didn't. They had to get their story straight. We know that the officer has been placed on leave, and the police department say that they're committed to full transparency. Well, they're going to have to be, because this started a community outrage over this baby's death, as it should have. The family called in the big guns, attorney Ben Crump, and he's been winning cases for Black families all across this nation. The baby's name was Cohen Wiley. According to attorney Crump, Cohen was in a car with his mother and a family friend when he was shot, and the friend was critically injured. His mother has not been charged with any crime and said that she was trying to communicate to officers that there was a baby in the car. Let me stop there. Some police, I'm not going to lump them all, but some police do not see our children as children. Just like the story I brought you about the Chinese residents squeezing the silicone Black babies because they say they're not human or they're not as human as the white ones. We have that kind of sick evilness right here in the U.S. It originated here. The mother's name is Valencia Wiley. She said they went to Walmart for diapers and that her friend was stopped while they were leaving the store, but I kept walking because it had nothing to do with me, meaning she wasn't stealing. By the time me and my baby got in the car, she came. She's talking about her friend. They encountered police as they began to back out, and Wiley said, I raised my baby up, trying to show them that he was in the car. She said her friend hit another car while her door was open, and by the time she set her baby down, she heard 3 to 4 shots. One of the shots hit him in the rib cage, and the other shots hit her friend in the arm and her thigh. The officers claimed they were shoplifting, but the mother says she wasn't charged after they drove to the hospital where her baby boy was pronounced dead. And she denied that her friend tried to hit the officers. According to her, the officers were on the right side, and she was driving towards the left. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation said it was gathering evidence and would share its findings with the state attorney general's office. Let me make you aware of some things about Mississippi. This is the same state where Medgar Evers, a civil rights leader, was shot and murdered in front of his home in the 1960s. In 1955, a 14-year-old boy, Emmett Till, was beaten to death after a white woman claimed he whistled at her. Medgar Evers was murdered by Byron D. LeBeckwith in 1963. It took 30 years to get a conviction. 30 years, people. Emmett Till's family never received justice. The 2 white men who beat him to death were acquitted, and the lying wife, Carolyn Bryant, was allowed to live out her days with her family right in Mississippi up until the day she died and went to hell. For people listening around the world, especially those who think America is so great, it's not. America is racist. It's not the golden land of opportunity for minorities that you think it is. Now, that was back in the day. Let's fast forward to 2025 and talk about Faulkner's story. And this incident was all caught on body cam. The officers questioned her about a handicap-accessible parking tag in her car and asked if it belonged to her. She told them that it belonged to her grandmother, who was in the store, and offered to move her car. That's when the officers asked her if her grandmother actually came out of the vehicle. That right there shows you that these police were looking to start something over nothing. A handicap tag, but that's what they do. Faulkner said she was asked for her ID, and when she grew uncomfortable because she had her 2- and 3-year-old children in the back of the car, she asked an officer to speak to his supervisor. Now, in this country, there is nothing against the law against asking for a supervisor. But the incident escalated, and she was pulled from the car and handcuffed on the ground. She was charged with disorderly conduct, resisting arrest. This incident was ridiculous. But the Senatobia police stood their ground and backed their officers. They blamed it all on Faulkner and said this incident could have very easily ended with a citation or even a warning until the actions of the suspect, you're a suspect just for sitting in a car? Really? Until the actions of the suspect escalated this encounter. But here's where God stepped in and said, "Not today, Satan." Faulkner said after she went to a meeting, she signed a form saying that the charges had been dropped, and the police had no comment about her case. She said, "I honestly thought I was going to be killed in front of my children. I don't feel safe in here. She grabbed me out my car. My kids were in the car." She's not overreacting or being dramatic. If you are Black, and I mean consciously Black in America, we all share the same fear that we can get in our car and never come back if we encounter the wrong police officer. And I agree with Faulkner when she says it's not all the police, because it's not, let's be fair, but it's a lot of them. She said she doesn't want to see anyone else get hurt because of the ones who can't communicate, meaning little Cohen Wiley. He was 1 year old. I didn't look into the foul, nasty comments from racists because I don't want to see it. And I don't want it to get me angry, but I can just imagine. That's how it is in this country, and that's what you need to understand. This is what we go through, people, every day. And the bigots will say, well, here you people go, playing the race card. Let's get one thing straight. Black people don't play race cards in this country. America stacked the deck before we stepped off the boat. All right, now let's get ready for our last stop, Georgia. A Black family was having a family reunion when it was interrupted by an idiotic gun-toting white man. His name is Jeffrey Tyler Kinzer, and he was arrested and charged with aggravated assault. I think that is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm going to tell you why. He trespassed on this family reunion, okay? And he shot at the attendees with an AR-15 style rifle. That should be attempted murder, not aggravated assault. But oh wait, the outrage gets worse. He was released the next day on a $5,000 bond. $5,000 is nothing because all you need in this country is 10%. That's right, $500 and you're free. The reunion was hosted at a home on Autumn Leaf Drive in Leesburg, Georgia. And Kinzer looks crazy. I hope they put him in with the brothers. But let's move on. Keishana Wilson posted several videos on TikTok showing what happened before the police showed up. Keishana says, imagine gathering with your family, celebrating your grandmother's birthday and the end of the family reunion, only for someone to drive by yelling racial slurs. He came by twice trying to provoke us. So let's get this straight. He showed up. And of course, he was yelling the N-word, the N-word, the N-word, because you know racist white people love that word. Well, that wasn't enough for this fool. He went home, put on body armor, and armed himself with an AR-15, and then returned to the reunion. So he started shooting at them. And the people were scrambling to get in the house, and I don't blame them. If a rational person hears gunshots, they're not going to run towards them. They're going to run away from them. Now, just listening to this young lady pleading for people to get in the house, it broke my heart. There was so much pain and disbelief in her voice. Now, this man effed around and found out because they started shooting back at him. The only person that was injured was the man who chose to do violence, the white guy, Kinzer. He was taken to the hospital before he was booked into Lee County Jail. And that's what some of these racists need to understand. This is 2026. You have guns. We have guns. You are protected by the right to bear arms, and so are Black people. At least it should be that way. Police said multiple firearms were used during the incident and multiple vehicles were damaged. They said that Kinzer admitted to being involved in the shooting, and they recovered an AR-style rifle and body armor from the scene. I want you to picture this. There were 20 children and elderly adults at the family gathering. This fool was yelling effing N-word. But Wilson also noted the officers were treating her family like they were the suspects, not the victims. Does this sound familiar? Yeah, being Black in America is so exhausting. She said, I guess they didn't believe us or take our word for it. And she said they let Kinzer go free. That's right, they let him leave the scene. Oh, but Kinzer wasn't by himself. His wife, Jesselyn, drove the car as Kinzer yelled the N-word at the family. When I say it's a small world, it really is, because Jesselyn Kinzer was outed by Dr. Jalea Taylor as a racist. Taylor wrote on Facebook, a racist nurse at Phoebe Memorial Hospital by the name of Jesselyn Kinzer and her racist husband, Jeffrey Kinzer, attempted to kill children. Now, when media called the hospital to see if Kinzer still worked there, as soon as the person heard her name, they hung up. Kashana says she was told that Jesselyn resigned. According to arrest records, Jesselyn wasn't charged. Go figure. In the law, we call that an accessory to a crime. The family didn't even know that Kinzer had been released. She said, "Why our kids? Why would you do such a hateful thing to a family because you don't like the color of their skin? We did nothing to him. We did nothing to you. So why would you attack us simply because our skin is darker than yours?" Lee County, Georgia. Terrible. My heart goes out to the Wilson family. I have no doubt more than a few are going to be traumatized by that incident for years to come. They should file a civil suit. That's what I would do. Racial violence has been going on in this country since the beginning of the slave boats. America has a very dark, ugly history that some folks want to erase, but some of us won't let it. Before I let you go, my new book, A Time Traveler's Tea, is releasing on Juneteenth, 2026. That's tomorrow, good people. Be sure to get your copies on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, or my website, www.dlhannah.com. Well, my listeners, you know I loved sitting and talking with you. And I would bring you more stories, but I'm out of time. If you learned anything from today's episode, you know what to do. Hit that follow button and follow me on Podbean, Spotify, Samsung, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music, and my other website, www.21bluelash.net. The weekend is almost here, folks, so I want you to be good to yourselves. And don't forget to pick up your copy of A Time Traveler's Tea. I will be back with more stories. Until then, be easy, take care of yourselves and each other, and as always, God bless.